tonight we're here with, well, I say tonight, of course it's tonight for me in the UK, but I don't think it's tonight over in California where Luna is right now, who's kindly offered to join us today. Hopefully we're going to get some more people to join us. We're looking forward to seeing Erendira as well. Hopefully she'll be coming in. Luna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Luna. Yeah, I'm helping out with things in Phonar and at the libraries mainly. Um, yeah, I'm in California.
You're doing a lot more than helping out. You're running the show, I think. But well, perhaps I should keep that to myself, maybe. So what we'll do then is I wanted to jump into the site first off, if that's okay, um, and because this is week 2, session 2, I'm gonna take over the screen if that's all right, Luna. I'm gonna come back and ask you some questions in a minute. If I go too quickly, Luna, can I rely on you to be the audience to sort of tell me to slow down or to repeat things? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to jump into my screen. So hopefully you're seeing the website now, and we've jumped into the home page. So there's a couple of things that I just wanted to share with you straight away. So we've added a blog, the Backpage blog as it's known, and this is where I'm going to be shouting out to everyone and really calling out people's work and drawing attention to stuff that's really exciting. So we stuck it on the home page now, so it's in there when you first arrive, and there are a couple of things that I wanted to share straight away because this has blown my mind. So, Luna, do you know what salt prints are?
No, I don't think so. Heard
No?
about that.
Okay, this just brace yourself because this is just too awesome. So so it's one of the earliest sorts of photography, salt prints. It's literally Victorian era, and it's a really sort of cumbersome process. You need lots of special kit for it, lots of special darkroom skills. But there's a friend of Phonar called Craig Austin, and he saw what we were doing with the artist track, with the artist tasks, and he loved this idea of taking things that are digital and then making versions of them that can't be reproduced, making them into unique artifacts, generative artifacts, in fact. And so what he asked if he could do, which blew me away, was he asked if he could make some salt prints of his favorite digital images. So each week he's now going to be choosing an image from the stream, and he's going to be making a salt print of it. And this week he picked one by Erendira, coincidentally, and it's this image here in the.
Yeah, I heard that Erendira got her photo chosen.
She did, Era Luna, apparently. I hope it's the same person, otherwise I made a mistake. But this is it. This is this really beautiful salt print, which is made on this as French paper. It's coated with whatever he coats it with. What do we see here? Silver salts. And then he puts it in this vintage frame, and he uses the sun to expose it. And each one is a one-off. No two are the same. And so they're going to be posted out with some Phonar merch. So I wanted to draw attention to that because that's just too cool. And then we'll jump into session 2. So here we are in session 2. I'm just scrolling up to the top here. Hopefully you're following me. How's my sound, Luna? Can you still hear me okay?
We're working great now.
Awesome. So this week's titled "Seeing the Unseen." So last week we kind of looked at light, and we looked at the different ways of controlling the light and different ways that we could make the image appear. So this week we're looking at we're moving on a bit, and we're looking at other ways that the camera changes the world that it sees and makes a representation of it. And so we have some activities here that we're going to
Hello?
explore. She is.
Okay.
Would you like to introduce yourself? This is great. I'm so glad you're here. Please introduce yourself. Can you hear us, Erendira?
Yeah, I can hear Jonathan. Hi.
Great. Hey, how you doing? Well, great. Well, so I'm afraid you missed the great news that you've been chosen by Craig Austin. He's chosen one of your prints. He's going to be
Mm-hmm.
sending you a salt print. which I'm just scrolling through now,
What?
so hopefully you can see that. A salt print, one of the earliest forms of photography. Each one's a
Oh,
one-off, and he made it from your image. He chose your image out of the many bajillions that are there in the stream because he thought it was particularly awesome. So you're going to be getting that through the post by carrier pigeon, apparently. So there you go. So we were just saying, session 2. We're looking at different ways that the camera interprets and represents the world. So we have a series of activities here that you have to try and replicate. So we're looking to do a shutter blur. We're hoping you're going to be able to freeze the frame. We're looking for you to explore something called depth of field. That's how much stuff is in focus. And we also want you to flatten the world, and that's great fun. You know, I hope if you've not made these images already, then they are great fun. You can actually pinch the sun, or you can pretend to be propping up a building. Now, the point is that, of course, these things, they don't happen in real life. You can only see that this fella here seems to be holding up this building from one particular point, one point of view. And you have to stand just there, and you have to line the building up behind him, and you have to have everything in focus so that it appears as though he's holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This is an example of how photography sort of represents the world, how it gives us representations of it. So when we're in control of that, we can really we can speak clearly with our images. So that's the day's activities. People have been working through those today, and if you're not near a group that's getting together at a library or a community center, then work through those now.
yeah.
And you're going to be looking to tag your images. Let's just roll down here at the bottom. You're going to be tagging your images, Phonar Nation, World, Phonar and Nation Unseen. There we go. And then your images will come into this stream. If you'd like to qualify for a prize, and if you head over to pursuitery.com, then you can register there, and you can also get your prize. So, did you get time to check out the awesome Maggie Steber interview this week, Luna?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
So, let's talk a little bit about that. So I'm just going to jump back now and back onto the blog, which is where that was hiding. And maybe we can talk a little bit about Maggie. Oh, look, we're scrolling past these people here. This is Casper. Shout out to Casper in New Zealand, who's doing the Phonar Nation. Here we go. Here's Maggie Steber. So we have her tips here, and coming down to her interview. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to the Maggie Steber interview, we're going to talk a little bit about it now. But this really is gold dust. She's super awesome. She works for National Geographic, amongst others. She's a legend of a photographer, and she gave us a really nice interview there. Did you get a chance to listen to it, Erendira, as well?
Yes, I did. I really like Maggie. She sounds like a very awesome photographer. How she's able to capture the emotions of the photos just by taking them by how do you say, with luck?
Well, exactly. Let's talk a little bit about what Maggie is and how she describes herself before we go any further. So, Luna, I mean, what sort of photographer is Maggie Steber?
She said she was a documentary photographer.
Documentary photographer, yeah. Had you heard of documentary photography before? Did you know what it was?
Not really.
I'm sorry, I lost your sound then.
Oh, no, I haven't really. I thought documentary mostly is filming, not really a photography thing.
Right, Erendira, have you heard of documentary photography before?
I've heard some of it, yeah.
So for those people that haven't heard of what documentary photography is or what a documentary photographer does, having listened to the interview, how would you describe it for them? What was your takeaway? What would you describe a documentary photographer's job to be?
It's photography that is trying to document a certain idea or topic, possibly.
Exactly, yeah.
Real world events and things like
Capturing real world events and things. Yes, yes. I think she described herself as being a sort of a witness at one point, didn't she? And so that she would witness these events, and she would try to put some sense on them. She'd try to tell the story of what happened. What else can you remember from the interview? What actually stuck out for you?
Um,
I thought it was really interesting when she was talking about being vulnerable as a photographer. Um, about, oh, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said since as a journalist you have to be in everyone's kind of everyone's being vulnerable to you. You have to be able to also be vulnerable to, I guess, help accept you in a way. I thought that was
Luna, I am so pleased that you picked up on that, because that is, for me, that was, I can't tell you how pleased I was when she said that. I didn't expect her to say that. But we've actually built a big chunk of Phonar Nation around exactly that issue. I mean, if we jump now, let's have a look at the image. Hopefully I'm just going to jump in now. So hopefully you're seeing the image now. This is the image from she showed us two images. This is one of them. This is the cover of the interview with Maggie. So we're talking about being vulnerable now, aren't we? So who's going to tell me what's happening in this image? We'll describe it.
well, I
Erendira, can you
remember
remember what this image was about?
from the interview, from what I remember, the picture, she went to go see a funeral, right? And she didn't want to take the pictures like without honor or something. And she asked the family if she was able to go, and they were burying the mother, and as soon as they put the last dirt on her, the son started screaming, and she just took the picture there. Okay.
That's exactly right. Yes. So she was in Haiti. She was doing a lot of work in Haiti, and there was a lot of civil unrest. So unfortunately, lots of people were being killed. She said regularly they'd get up in the mornings and there'd be bodies on the streets. It was a very, very difficult time, very upsetting time. And so there were lots of people being buried at the same time. She went to the funeral parlor or the cemetery, and there were a number of families that were burying people. And she sat with this particular family, didn't she? And she spoke with them for some time. And she asked them who had died, and she expressed real regret that it was an older woman who was accidentally caught in the crossfire after there'd been a ceasefire announced. And she asked if she could document it, if she could tell that story to the rest of the world I think it was via National Geographic. I think she was shooting for National Geographic. And the family said, yes, it's all right, you can do that. And so there she is. She's at the graveside, and she's standing on one side of the grave, and here is the family on the other side of the grave. And as you described, the last shovel of soil goes onto the coffin, and she describes that in that moment, the son rose up and he just screamed, and then it was gone. And what she said was, that's incredibly difficult, isn't it, to be putting your camera in somebody's face when they're that vulnerable. And she said, what right have I to do things like that? And so that was what she said when she was talking about being vulnerable. I mean, she went on to explain, didn't she, that in fact, she felt it was really important, and they were really glad that she'd made that image. But can you remember what she says when she talks about being vulnerable? What does she say that it's important for photographers to do? Luna, can you remember what she says? She says, if you're photographing other people at their moments of when they are their most vulnerable, there's something that you as a photographer ought to do as well. We went on to look at that second image.
She said something about being vulnerable yourself as a photographer. I don't know if it was about that specifically.
It was. I think what she was saying. I think what she was trying to say was that one of the things that she felt was important was that kind of like in order to make images like this, you have to kind of do the same thing yourself. You have to make yourself vulnerable. And she shared with us the images of her mother, didn't she? The images that when the pictures of her mum growing old with memory loss and eventually sort of dying, and how difficult and painful it was for her to share those images. But she felt it was really important to make herself vulnerable if she was going to do it to lots of other people. I thought that was I was really glad that she said that, because it's something, as I say, that we've built in. We're going to be asking ourselves, we're going to be doing self-portraits, and we can be as silly with those as we want, or we can be as serious as we want. But I think it's something that's worth all of us doing, actually, sort of thinking how other people might see us as we learn how to tell other people's stories. Was there anything else that you took away? What was the things that you thought about after that interview, if anything? Erendira?
I thought she was a really good person. Like, she started when she was young. She started taking pictures of nature, and from there she grew on her experience. And I think she's a really cool person to be hanging out with or just learning from her.
I thought it was really interesting to hear about her experiences, going around doing so much research to take photos, and how much work went into just finding the right images for the magazine.
So tell us now, we're going to draw it to a close in a minute because we're coming to the end of our 20 minutes. In fact, we're slightly overrunning, which apologies for the technical hiccups. So the guys are going to be doing their tasks today, and they're going to be going away and doing some of the session 2 tasks as well. We've got seeing it built, seeing in miniature, and seeing new scenes. Now, you guys have already done these tasks. What advice have you got for those people that are just starting out?
Is her audio working?
We're getting Erendira is miming, so she's pretending to say something, but she's not actually saying it. She's almost as good as me. I was pretending to echo a minute ago. Did you get that?
Is it working now?
We've lost you, Erendira. Go on, Luna. You tell us. If I can hear you. So.
What advice? I think it's just about observing little things, especially we did the seeing in miniature one, and you had to really get close and find little details in the photos.
Well, one of this, Erendira, can we see you? Can you try again, Erendira? Oh, unfortunately, I can't hear her. Can you hear her, Luna?
No, I can't hear her either.
Definitely miming, definitely pretending to talk so that we think she's saying something, and it's going to be really interesting, but of course we're missing out on it. All right, I tell you what we'll do then. We're going to draw a line under today, and we'll get back and have another hangout before next Tuesday, and we'll run it through again. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right then. Thanks so much for dropping in today. That's great of you. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Erendira. Bye, guys.